All right, let's make a breakfast casserole. The very first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350. Get out your baking dish. I'm just going to spray mine like a Pam spray. And then set that to the side. On the stove, I have sausage cooking. I just turned that on. I'm just using the Aldi brand premium pork sausage. You can use Jimmy Dean, Bob Evans, whatever kind of sausage you like. You want 1 packet of that. You want to completely cook that. So while that's cooking, you are going to take 2 cups of pancake mix. Again, I just got this at Aldi. You can use whatever kind of pancake mix you want. You're going to pour 2 cups of that into your bowl. You need 1.5 cups of milk. Approximately 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Sorry if you can hear the lawnmower in the background. That time of year. And then you need 2 large eggs. Okay, make sure you keep an eye on your sausage on the stove so that doesn't burn. Just mixing that up. Okay, then mix together your pancake mix. Gotta find my whisk in here somewhere. Alright. Completely mix that together. Once you have that all mixed together, you are going to pour a very thin layer on the bottom of your greased baking dish. So probably just enough to cover the bottom. So if you can see, that's a thin layer along the bottom. You're actually going to stick this in the microwave, I'm sorry. Stick this in the oven for 5 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes, please. All right, so I am going to let that cook for 5 minutes. I'm going to cook up all my sausage and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. So that was in for about 5 minutes, just enough to kind of let that bottom layer settle. And then what you're going to do is take a layer of your sausage. I guess it's, and just kind of sprinkle on top that pancake mix. Just enough to cover it. And then you want to take some maple syrup or whatever kind of syrup you have. I'm actually almost out, so I'm just going to use up what I do have. You're just going to want to make a little thin layer across the top. Bring that over so you can see it. It's still a little hot, so I have a layer of pancake mix, a layer of sausage, and some syrup. And now we're going to do that again. So we're going to pour the rest of our pancake mix on top. And then we're going to cover that with sausage. Just the rest of your sausage, basically. And then add more syrup on the top. Now you're going to stick this back in the oven, and you're going to bake it for approximately 35 to 40 minutes. Sorry again if you can hear the lawnmower, but you want that pancake mix to get completely done. So we'll come back when it's all done and see how it tastes. All right, it cooked for about 40 minutes. I just pulled it out. I already cut a piece, as you can see. You can put some more syrup on the top or eat it just like it is. All right, so as much as I would love a real garden, I don't have one. So I do some container gardening, and this year I thought I would try 5-gallon bucket gardening. One of my favorite things to plant is potatoes. These are definitely ready. So my parents have Amish friends, and we were recently over there, and my dad was talking to them about growing potatoes, and they said they just stick the whole potato in the ground. They don't cut it, just to save time. I personally will cut these, not these tiny ones though. I'm just going to stick those in the ground and see what happens. And I also have some tomato plants we're going to try in the buckets, and I believe cabbage and Brussels sprouts. So don't mind the flower bed. I haven't gotten around here yet to clean it up. But I don't have an actual garden, but I love to grow things, or at least attempt to. So I planted my potatoes in this barrel. Did have holes in the end. You see it's filled with dirt. I planted them about a month ago, and the vines are already going crazy. I do think there is some mint that popped up in there, but that's all right. As you can see, we do grow mint right in the flower bed, just on this side. So I think last time it took a few months for the potatoes to actually grow. This has been about a month. So I'll come back a few months later and show you guys how they are doing. Alright, so I have 5 buckets total to plant in. I've never done buckets, but I do have an aunt and uncle in Tennessee that plants potatoes every year, and they seem to do pretty well. I have a beefsteak tomato in that one. And as you can see, there's holes in the bottom of the bucket that my husband drilled, so we can hopefully help with the drainage. I do have some more tomatoes, but these are probably going to get planted in the ground. One of our local stores, I guess you would call it, sells like produce and plants, and they had this 4-pack of tomatoes for just $1.50. So we'll try this out and see how it works. Alright, so I'm just using Miracle-Gro garden soil only because it was on sale at Home Depot. I don't think it really matters, honestly. But I filled my bucket a little less than halfway. I did cut the tops off my potatoes, only the big ones. I'm going to put that potato down in there. The tiny ones I'm leaving whole. I'm just going to make a layer around. pull the camera so you can see. And then I'm going to fill that bucket completely with dirt. You just want to make sure that, I think they're called eyes. I've always called them eyes. The eye of the potato is up, facing up, so that the vine can grow out of the dirt. And then once you have that full, you're going to want to get your hose or your watering can and water this. Probably going to water it daily if we don't get rain. But I'm going to finish filling my buckets with dirt and planting my other vegetables, and in a few weeks I'll come back and see how this worked.
I'm Emma.
I'm Papa, the old man.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.